Okay, they wasn't ready. They were not ready. Ooh. Miss Keely, you scared to death, ain't you, girl? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for BET Presents the Encore. This is season 1. This is episode 7. 7. So we are like literally, we like moving along here. But now listen, they wasn't ready. They were not ready. See, Keely and the twins, they've been playing these little games they've been playing. And I always said something will happen. They're going to run into the wrong one playing, and then it's going to be everybody's not Aubrey. Listen, let's talk about it. We're going to get to it. First things first. Keely, with this whole little thing that was going on with Cosign and Felicia and Fallon, because now Fallon has gotten into it. And it's like this whole argument. They went and they came back down after Felicia goes and tells Fallon what's going on. They come back down and now they're attacking Cosign. Literally, they're attacking them and they're like going at it. They're cussing and fussing, and you know, it was really hyped up. There was no professionalism at this point. This was just mess, pure mess. And Keely was trying to rally everybody basically onto the side of Felicia. So it was becoming this male versus female thing. And it's given, you know, all the girls in the house should be on our side. This, that, we should all be on one side against him, and we can get rid of him. It was that whole kind of thing. Well, the problem was the 702 girls basically sided with Cosign. They were trying, like, because when the second blow up took place, Misha was in the booth, so she didn't hear everything that went on. And she's like, well, I'm just trying to get some type of understanding of what happened, and then I could decide. And they're like, no. You know, it was really a mess. Then Pam ends up going in on Keely and telling her, you know, I ain't really with that whole, you know, us against him just because we all in the house together thing. She said, I think it's gotten to a point where enough is enough. There's some issues on his side. There's some issues on y'all's side. It's enough is enough. And I don't like it. I don't like this. And I've been being quiet. But I see stuff that you do. And I just ain't really with it. I'm really not with what you do. I was like, okay. So Keely got in her feelings talking about, you know, Pam don't usually say nothing. But when Pam does say something, her words hold weight. And I was upset because she was using her words against me. So now you're a victim again. So now Aubrey's gone. We got Keely. Start the shit and then become the victim. Aubrey start the shit and then sit back and watch it. You know, Keely, girl. And again, I still say, I swear she looks like she's drunk all the time. This child looks so drunk. Or maybe she's just tired. But she just be looking so lit up to me. I'm like, all right, whatever. And wait, this was funny to me. In this whole episode, why did Misha keep calling the twins Phineas and Ferb? Phineas and Ferb. I said, Lord have mercy. But they was doing the same things they've been doing. Then Felicia, after that little thing, Felicia then has her sights on Misha. Misha got an X on her back. And Misha keeps, like, basically, her and Irish both are asking, they're like, you know, we only have this many lines in the song. And so they're thinking, now that Aubrey's gone, maybe they'll get some extra lines and extra placements in the songs. And Felicia and Fallon is giving very much of, girl, listen, get over it. We're being nice letting you have the ones you have because you're late. And we're being nice. And now that she has an X on her back, Felicia's like, I'm getting sick of Misha. Always asking. She said if she say one more thing about more lines and this, that, and the other, I'm going to let her have it. I was like, oh, okay. So again, it's, you know, same same as it's been. And instead of pulling back, they just are pushing forward. And it's like you can start to see a little of this division. Like it's starting to become more evident. The division that some of this stuff is causing. It's like, okay, cool, no problem. So the next day, Cosign ends up sending flowers and a gift basket for all the girls with a letter in there apologizing about the night before and what actually went down and how things were handled. And, basically trying to smooth it over and saying, you know what, we really got off on the wrong foot last night. Let's try to fix this. I really apologize. I'm humbling myself and saying, yes, I shouldn't have went the way I went, and we could actually fix it. So let's go ahead on and get the work done. Because remember, the days is just rolling down. Anyway, the twins, they ain't even trying to hear it. The girls were in the room. They're down in the studio. The girls were like going through the basket, looking at the stuff that was in there. He had all kind of little stuff in there for them, wine and they were just, the flowers were really pretty, and there was like cocoa butter, like girl stuff. There was all kind of stuff in there, and they got mad like we trying to listen, y'all loud, just mean and nasty and evil. They really are. They are evil, like children, like teenage girls. They're like mean teenage girls, and they were like, oh God, Chop Misha get up in her confession. She's gonna say, see how they are. Just some ungrateful bitches. I said, oh. So, just a mess. Of course, Keely, she's, I ain't forgiving them either. Okay, well, whatever. No biggie. But the rest of the house all thought that was really cool that Cosign did that. And the girl, he had won all of them over. So, it's just the twins and Keely. And the rest of the house is like, girl, get on out of here with that. Later on that night, because Misha's still the queen. She's still the queen. We didn't get, in this episode, they didn't pick a new queen. Misha's still the queen. She gets together this whole burning ceremony little thing at the fire pit. So they're just going to take one thing, throw it into the fire to just get rid of it. Just the bad feelings and things that are, negativity. Just throwing it away. So, this is one of those team building things. So I said, okay, Keely breaks out. The very first thing, they said, we'll let you go first. She busts out this bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Child, and the twins get the ball, not just the twins, but everybody's busting all laughing, but the twins are going in, squalling, okay? So her thing is she wants to literally leave behind the whole KFC situation, her throwing the chicken at Notori and all that. She wants to leave that whole situation behind because it causes her hurt. She just hasn't gotten over it. She just wants to leave it behind. Then she gets to the confessional and she's like upset because the girls were laughing. I mean, come on, girl. You're sitting there with a bucket of chicken. Like, seriously? Seriously? Lord. So, anyway. Ridiculous. And I just sat here and thought about it, child. I was thinking, what am I going to eat for lunch today? And I remember I got some chicken in there. Honest to God. When I was sitting there talking, and I literally, it just crossed my mind, and I was like, I got some chicken in there myself. I think I'm going to have me some chicken. Anyway, listen. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. So she's got an attitude. I'm like, so that didn't work because you still feeling negatively. You didn't really let it go because you still feeling some kind of way. And they laughed, and everybody's been laughing. The world's been laughing at you about that chicken. And that was what you were trying to let go. You still mad because people laugh. Girl, it's funny. Really, think about it, girl. If you were on the other side of it and you see a fool throwing chicken, throwing chicken is always funny. Girl, shut up, child. Anyway, moving on. Fallon had wrote a letter. She, ever since the Cherish days, there's this whole thing about their dad, their dad managed them and everything, and he mismanaged the money. And Fallon has been evil with Daddy ever since she found out, that they was kind of like going broke, but working like crazy. So she wrote a letter and she was saying, that anger she holds over that situation with her father. She's ready to let that go. She throws that in. Pam has a letter, and the letter symbolizes just lies and how she, had told lies, and the lies she told spun into really terrible situations in the past, and she just wants to leave all that behind as well. Want to let that go. So Irish says, her whole fear of the studio and how she gets, all worked up and is having such a hard time being in the studio nowadays. She wants to get rid of that. Misha, her thing is the issue she had with dances. She wants to really get rid of the block that she has for picking up the choreography and really try to do better at that. I'm like, both of those are pretty much cop-outs. Anyway, Shamari. Shamari had a videotape. It's an old VHS tape. And it basically symbolized the control that the industry has over, or has had over her and the things that she was a part of in the past. She wants to let go of that, period. Like, I'm just not falling into that trap anymore. She actually talked about the last, like, part of some stuff that Black had actually done, and, the record company just decided they just didn't push it forward. So, and that sucks. That does happen. And when she was talking about it, it made me think of Christina Milian. Christina Milian had a cute little run there. But there was an album that Christina Milian put out after the album with Dip It Low on it. There was an album she put out after that. The whole album was everything. It was a nice album. Like, literally, you could play that CD from, well, I still do. To this day, I still do. You just play it from the beginning all the way through to the end. There's some bops. There's some nice slow songs, some nice mellow songs. It's a nice album. They shelved that album. They shelved it. That album was 10 times better than the one that she came out. And that's where, your sophomore album is the one that you want to pop. And her sophomore album ended up getting shelved. So, yeah, that's the thing. So I understood it when she was saying it, and that's the first thing. It's so funny, but yeah, Christina Milian came to mind. Anyway, so that was that for Shamari. Nivea had this rose, and she said it's the rose that she wore to her mother's funeral, and she always keeps it with her. And she said she was ready to throw that in there. She's tired of mourning it. Like, she's over it, And that's the thing with mourning a death. You should never feel bad about mourning the death of a loved one. Never. You should never feel bad. You should never feel rushed to actually get to the other end of it. Mourning is different every time. For every person, it's different. But even just like for each individual human, mourning the death of anybody, it is different every single time. Mourning the death of a sibling won't be the same as another sibling. A mother or a father, like your mother and your father. If you lose your mother and your father, the mourning process is not going to be the same. Every time there's a loss, the mourning, it's different. It's new and different and fresh, unfortunately, every time. So at no time should you ever feel any type of way about your feelings when there's a loss of a loved one. Period. I just don't, that's just not I just don't, when I hear people apologize, what are you apologizing for? You're breaking down, and you're apologizing. Why are you apologizing? I have a girlfriend. She just lost her mother a few months ago. And if she has well, I call them a crack, like a crack in the road, she'll apologize about getting, girl, no. And we sat right there at that table, and we were just talking, and a little wave come through, and I told her, honey, listen, that ain't the first I know, and it ain't gonna be the last. Ain't gonna be the last. You don't have to ever feel bad about that. Period. And you don't apologize to nobody about that. That it is what it is, and it comes in waves, honey. And you'll never get over it. You just learn to deal with it better. That's all. I don't know. I don't think that it ever gets easier. Child, you miss them. They're your people. You miss them, and there's nothing to feel bad about. Anyway, I went off into a whole tangent. Listen, I feel like I needed to say that, so that's that. I said it. Somebody needed to hear it, so I said it, and that's that. Now I'm gonna get down off my soapbox, but boom, boom, bam, and I'm back, and let's move forward. Now, Nivea, she had that go on. After the little ceremony was over and the girls went back in, Nivea was still sitting outside. She's still feeling some kind of way. I said, what's going on, Nivea? Nivea's been in a downward spiral slowly ever since Aubrey left. She took that really, really badly. And again, she started to explain, I've never been in a girl group, so I don't know, this whole thing about losing a member. And we was doing this together, and I felt like we should be finishing this together. We are doing this together. So it threw her off. And it's like, okay, girl. But again, how do you get to the other side? Nobody there is really paying attention to tell her, okay, girl, this is how we process that. She don't know. So what they all went through basically at 16 and 17 and 18 years old, some of them in their early 20s, she's going through that now, and they ain't really paying no attention. Irish and Pam noticed something. They come out, they're talking to her and everything, and they still ain't putting together that it's all of the stuff about Aubrey leaving. They thinking it's the stuff with her mom and the rose and all of that. But they told her, she said she just was living for the quiet and everything, and all the arguments get on her nerves. So she said, they said, well, we're going to go in. We'll let you have some time. But if you stay out here too long, we're going to come back and get you. I thought that was very sweet. So everything was cool. Everything moves on. Then they go on. We have this whole dance rehearsal thing. There's this whole dance rehearsal thing. And Irish she was having an issue. She don't want Keely telling her nothing, girl. She ain't feeling Keely. She basically is really holding on a lot to the Aubrey stuff. She is, flat out. She got bad feelings with Keely. I mean, all of them should. You know what I mean? That's fine. That's understandable. But with Irish still feeling some type of way about the whole Aubrey thing and Keely. Okay, so that's definitely still going on inside there with them. They start having this conversation. Keely's downstairs with the girls, and they're talking about the dance rehearsal and how Irish was kind of hesitant, and she just really didn't want to take direction from Keely. Because Keely understood that she was getting on her nerves, but she continued on anyway, because she's over there trying to be the choreographer. Keely likes to want to try to tell them what to do, even though she was really helping, and Irish was really just, using your feelings, but whatever. So they're talking about her. They're talking about her and Misha. They're upstairs, and she could hear them, not like it always happens. They got this paper thin walls in this place, and they're talking. Misha and Irish and Nivea come downstairs, and Misha's like, well, the least y'all could do if y'all gonna talk about us is close the door. Close the door. But we can hear you. And Nivea's like, yeah, y'all, come on now. They can hear you talking about them and stuff. And then they start talking. They say, well, let's just get everything out. And they start talking. Well, here goes Fallon being the spokesperson. Fallon has a way, because Fallon's real nasty in her speak, honey. So Fallon basically to talk, well, girl, you're only as good as the weakest link that you show. They're going to show, if you're the weakest one dancing, they're going to show you. And it was just, they're like, well, damn, you didn't have to say it like that. You know what I mean? And they're like, Nivea was like, girl, you ain't have to call nobody the weakest link. Now, that's just, you doing too much. And they're like, well, we've been saying everything, trying to spare everybody's feelings, and this, that, and the other. Then she started trying to backpedal and pussy pop, and like, oh, no, what I was saying wasn't really that. No, you blurted out what you wanted to say, nasty. Somebody met it with resistance, and now you're trying to backpedal. No, it was nasty. It was meant to be nasty, and it was accepted. It didn't just smooth over. Now they're coming back at you, and you don't like that. Fallon and Felicia will say nasty shit, and if nobody comes back at them, they're cool with it. But if you come back at them, they kind of sort of try to eat it up, or they'll try to get together up on you. You know, they messy. They messy. But anyway, they end up, Misha, it end up getting to be this whole thing where, because Nivea was like, listen, I'm telling you, all this walking around, she's like, I understand how she feel, like she hears y'all talking about her, you know, and they're like, well, she did. She came downstairs and she asked us, and so we're telling her. Nivea's like, no, see, I mean, yeah, I understand that, but you're not even getting that you're wrong sitting around talking about her. See, I ain't with all that. It's like, see, I'd be different, and I'd be to come down there and punch a bitch in the face. I was like, oh, uh-oh. And I start seeing something in Nivea, honey. At that point, I looked over there. Nivea was sitting on that couch. Baby, I seen her eyes dancing. I said, she gonna tear one of y'all's ass up. Y'all just don't even know it. She is ready to snap and tear one of y'all's asses up. Now, who's it gonna be? Whose ass is gonna get torn, honey? I said, oh, poor Nivea. Anyway, so Misha and Felicia, they start talking about each other's wigs and going back and forth. Look, child, it got real petty. Real petty about who was the weakest link and who ain't shit, and your looks and your wig is all messed up. And it was like, you know, Fallon and Felicia do usually be together, but to tell the truth, and they was trying to read Misha about this red wig she had. Yeah, it was red. It was red, but it was neat. It was neat, and it wasn't all that bad. But at the time, Felicia's wig was balled up. It looked like she had been laying on it and covering up with it while she was taking a nap, and then put it back on. It was balled up, and Misha came for her, and she was shook. She was shook like, that bitch ain't said nothing about my wig with her non-dancing, non-singing ass. But she did get you, girl. Your wig was messed up. That wig is looking thick and greasy. I said, because I kept looking, I said, oh, wig. She got her. Anyway, so she was feeling some kind of way, so the twins was jumping her. So it was getting kind of heated and one of them type of things. So Nivea is like pushing Misha and Irish out the door away from the other two sisters. More so Misha. And then at some point, Felicia got really to feeling real fancy and told Nivea, I wish you would fight for everybody the way you fight for some people. And she starts going at Nivea, and I was like, oh, no. No, no. Oh, no, 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 no. And, honey, that Nivea snapped out and was like, you know what? What I ain't going to do, I don't play these kind of games. I don't play these kind of games. And I was like, uh-oh. Nivea went on off. She was like, I'm out of here. She went and dashed up the steps. She removed herself. She removed herself because she knew she's going to go against the contract, honey. She's going to lay hands. She went on up out of there, went upstairs, got to packing her stuff. The twins did like they do with everybody else. I kept telling you, everybody ain't the same. They went up there, up to Nivea's room, knocked on the door. She's like, she's like, yeah. They're like, Nivea, we want to talk. She's like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to talk. So here, I was like, now what? Because this is what they used to doing. They go into your room, they talk to you, they backpedal, and everything is woo, 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 woo. And y'all come on back downstairs. No. Nivea was in there packing her shit. They're like, oh no, what are you doing? Oh no. They know they done screwed up. So she was like, I said, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm done with it. They still talking. Honey, she snaps out, storms out of the room, pushes past them. She's going out. She's like, don't come. She said, I said I don't want to talk. Don't walk up on me. Leave me up. Girl, she coming down these steps. Folks getting out the way. Keely is at the bottom of the steps. When Nivea gets to the bottom of the steps, Keely goes to do her little thing. That's all, girl, ain't nobody feeling you. She, what's wrong? What's going? She said, don't walk up on me. I was like, oh, shit. Honey, Keely, what? I fell out. I said, she like to scare the dog shit out of you, didn't she, Keely? Honey, she was not having it. Next thing you know, we see her. She done went. They're like, oh, damn. We see Nivea. in the car, leaving. Done packed her things, done put them in the truck, leaving. And you hear the twins say, well, wait a minute, we need Nivea. Wait, she's on a bunch of these songs and this, that. Oh, no, 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 no. No, y'all kept playing them little games. Now fix it. I don't know if you're going to be able to fix it with her. She in the car, going on down the street. A mess. A mess. I knew it was going to get to a point where somebody wasn't going to go for this same little act. Because it's been the same act over and over and over and over. Did it with Irish. Did it with Misha. Did it with Aubrey. Did it with Cosign. It's always the same little thing. And with Cosign, they didn't go back and try to make up with him because they didn't feel like they had to. Girl power. They didn't have to. Them twins, honey. Anyway, look. I'll catch y'all on the next episode, honey. Let's see what happens with Nivea. Hopefully she'll come on back. Because she has a lot of vocals. A lot of vocals. And truth be told, she's the best singer in the house. And her and Shamari. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all next week, honey.